7 years. 7 years of 7 years. 7 years of silence, distance, and learning how to live without her. I had moved on, or at least I believed I had, but nothing prepared me for the moment I saw her again. It was a rainy afternoon in the city. I slipped into a small cafe to escape the downpour, and that was when my eyes landed on a familiar figure. She stood there, looking older yet somehow unchanged, her presence instantly filling the room. I froze, the world shrinking until it was only her. Memories I had buried for years, laughter, arguments, late-night conversations, the pain of our divorce, came rushing back with startling clarity. I was about to walk past quietly, pretending I hadn't seen her, when she turned her head toward me, and everything stopped. Her eyes met mine, wide with recognition. Then she smiled, a hesitant, almost nervous smile, the kind that once made me feel like the luckiest man alive. A storm of emotions hit me at once: anger, nostalgia, longing, confusion. Part of me wanted to turn away, to protect myself from reopening old wounds. Another part wanted to run toward her, demand answers, demand closure, demand the truth. Before I could even gather my thoughts, she took a tentative step closer, her voice cutting through the rain and the noise outside. "I need to tell you something," she said softly. The words were simple, yet heavy with emotion, and they left me completely speechless. We found a quiet corner of the cafe, away from curious eyes, where the air felt thick with tension and anticipation. Her hands trembled slightly as she lifted her coffee, and I watched her closely, trying to understand whether this was a reunion, an apology, or something far more complicated. "I've spent all these years thinking about what went wrong," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "I made mistakes, but there are things you never knew, things I never told you." My heart pounded in my chest. 7 years of unanswered questions, and now she was here, ready to reveal the secret she had kept buried all this time. Her confession came slowly, carefully, like a river finding its path after being blocked for years. She spoke of the struggles she faced after our divorce: loneliness, regret, mistakes that continued to haunt her. She admitted to choices that had pushed us apart, moments of weakness I had never known about, and sacrifices she had made in silence for reasons she never shared. With every word, my understanding of her began to shift, replacing the woman I thought I knew with someone more complex, vulnerable, and undeniably human. My anger and resentment softened as I listened, drawn in by the honesty and raw emotion pouring from her. As she spoke, I realized the person sitting across from me was not the woman I had divorced. She was someone shaped by time, regret, and experience. Her voice trembled as she described moments she had kept hidden, choices made under pressure, and truths that had once felt impossible to share. I sat in stunned silence, taking in every revelation, every subtle detail. The world outside the cafe, the rain tapping against the windows, pedestrians rushing past, slowly faded away. For the first time in years, I saw her clearly, not through the lens of heartbreak, but through one of human complexity and imperfection. Then she paused, drew a deep breath, and searched my eyes for a response. "I've missed you," she confessed, her voice shaking. Those three simple words carried the force of a storm. Memories, emotions, and unresolved feelings collided inside me. I had convinced myself I had completely moved on, yet in that moment, I realized a part of me had never truly let go. The words lingered between us, heavy with longing, regret, and unspoken questions. I didn't know whether to forgive, to walk away, or to consider the possibility of something new. We talked for hours, sharing stories from the years apart, exploring what had changed and what remained the same. She spoke openly about her struggles, her small victories, and the loneliness that followed her long after our divorce. I shared pieces of my own journey, the challenges and triumphs that had shaped me in her absence. The conversation was raw, honest, and quietly transformative. Around us, the cafe buzzed with life, yet we existed in our own space, one where past wounds were faced and long buried truths finally surfaced. By the end of the afternoon, the rain had stopped, leaving the streets shining under soft light. I realized that everything I had believed about her, the anger, the betrayal, the resentment, was only part of the story. There was also courage, regret, and a genuine desire to make things right. Her first words, the ones that had stunned me, had opened a door I thought was forever closed. I felt a rush of emotions: relief, disbelief, and the strange pull of unfinished business. Before we left the cafe, she looked at me with a vulnerability that pierced every wall I had built over the years. "I don't expect things to be like before," she said quietly, "but I wanted you to know the truth, and that I'm sorry for everything I hid." Her words felt less like a plea and more like a declaration. I understood then that our story wasn't finished. It had been paused, not erased. The first words she spoke after 7 years had changed everything: my perspective, my emotions, and the story I thought I knew about her. As we stepped back into the sunlight, the city felt different, brighter, alive with possibility, charged with something new. I didn't know what the future held, whether we would rebuild, part ways, or redefine what connected us. But one truth was undeniable: the woman I saw that day was not the same person I had divorced. And the first words she spoke 7 years after our separation shattered my assumptions, leaving me silent, captivated, and aware that life sometimes offers moments powerful enough to change everything in an instant.